Hello and welcome to the latest edition of the pod. As ever, welcome back if you've been here before, and hello if you're a new listener. So, today we're going to talk about the dreaded AI. Now, by now, we're all aware of how AI is being used in music. And like all technologies, it itself isn't good or evil. That pretty much just comes down to the implementation. For example, on the positive side, in my day-to-day mixing work, I currently use a tool called Forte, which helps me prepare my sessions and organize the tracks. It sorts them into type, figures out what they are, presumably using this Quody Fingers AI, cleans them up, and converts them to mono if need be, and it's probably saved me days, no joke, days of work this month alone. That's a good use of AI technology. I've also used it recently to duplicate harmony lines in a client's project, creating other people when the artist said they wanted it to sound like a load of other people, but we didn't have any other people. I tried it. I thought it sounded pretty good. Bounced it off the artist, and in the end, we didn't use it, and I respect their artistic decision, but that's one side of the coin. A couple of ways to use this technology to help us in our process. We're also aware of the completely tone-deaf AI bro CEO who seems to think that creation itself is a burden and that making music simply by using a prompt somehow compares to art. His actual quote was, "I think the majority of people don't enjoy the majority of the time they spend making music." And I find that deeply offensive. There's no way I'm doing this for the money. He should, as the Brits say, get in the sea. I don't know if you've ever heard that phrase. And what happens to him in the sea, I'll leave that to your imagination. We're also unfortunately aware that our music, or all of music, has been by now used illegally to train these models these people are making and spit out creations for someone else's profit, usually theirs in a subscription, and maybe some artists creating AI trash to take up space on Spotify playlists. There's pushback from both directions to that, in the form of the small print in your distribution contract allowing it, and a fight to stop that. If we're honest, some kinds of music are sometimes a little formulaic anyway, so it's not really a surprise that the process works. If some hyperpop sounded like a video game soundtrack already, every bro country tune followed the same story arc and used the same musicians playing the same parts, and every $20 beat maker was already making the same derivative garbage, training a model on it will likely produce something pretty damn close to what it was fed. However, I want to talk to you about the light at the end of the tunnel, the possibility that the endless homogeneous sausage that will emerge from the AI machine may in fact drive people towards human innovation and creation. I work with a lot of indie artists, and the material really can vary wildly. Now, while my entire thing is to help elevate people's music to something resembling a commercial standard, whatever that is, the reality is what comes in varies wildly. This week, I was working on a song for a gentleman called Hugh, who very kindly gave me permission to do more or less what I wanted to do. So yes, I took some editorial liberties with his tracks he sent me, chopped out parts I didn't love, rearranged a few things, redid one or two parts to tighten it up, but at the core, the artist had sent me something quite unusual, beautiful, and unique. So I tried to preserve that and just present it in a way people would appreciate it. Imagine something with the influence of early 90s dance pop like The Beloved, then add Aled Jones, some Welshness, and then mix that up in an indie-influenced blender. Good luck with that, robot. The point is, I'm guilty as a mixer, pushing material in a direction that I think will work based on my experience and obviously overarching personal bias on what I find aesthetically pleasing based on my lifetime of listening. A little bit like an AI maybe, I don't know. And the reason I've managed to do this as a profession is that it turns out that the majority of the public also seem to resonate with my taste and choices, and it's that simple. As a mixer, it's not about the latest side-chaining technique, plug-in, or technical advancement. It's about the musicality and effect it has on other humans as the end result. And this is not something that can be learned, either from YouTube, as you're trying to learn to mix, or replicated by a machine. Now, Hugh's artistry, the sheer mysterious chaos of his imagination, life experiences, situation on that day, at the moment of creation, cannot be synthesized. Similarly, last year I got to work with another indie artist called Joe Peacock, whose lyrical gifts and sheer range of topics in his brain could have only been informed by his life and experience, and it was quite humbling. Again, a couple of years ago, I worked on a very personal album by a dear friend called Cormac, who bravely made a record based almost entirely on his love and experiences with his son. Musically, he'd also been experimenting with quite a chaotic process, born from necessity during COVID, which, if anything, has added something to his fairly traditional singer-songwriter sonic palette. And guess what? People liked it. It resonated. No machine can ever do that. No machine will be able to manifest true humanity, and I suspect that the more AI music that's created, the more other humans will either consciously or subconsciously seek out the real. It's only been a short time, but much like we can all spot ChatGPT generated text a mile off right now, the same will happen with AI generated music. There will be exceptions, but humanity and imperfection may, after all, be your and my biggest asset as creatives. So, I encourage you to go crazy. Seek out the furthest corners of your imagination. Experiment, try, leave in the dirt, make mistakes. No matter how easy AI creation or even mixing can become, it will never replace the beauty of humanity. And I believe people will be drawn to that. Well, there we go. Thank you for joining me on today's rant. I'm very curious what you guys think out there. I'd love to hear from you. As ever, if you have any suggestions or feedback, I would love to hear it. Hopefully you'll come back. And if you do, I'll see you here on the next episode of The Pod.